Welcome to At the Table with Ginger, everybody. Ginger here, flying solo for this month's episode. Want to share today some of the thoughts that go through my mind when I'm teaching, when I am connecting, when I'm interacting, when I'm thinking about connection. Yeah, I probably think about it more than the average person. At the same time, when we think about it, we connect differently. We connect better because we're being more conscious of it. So I want to share the 4 ways I think about it, or 4 components to my growth model that I teach. It's on the website. You can go check it out at gingerjohnson.com. I want to share these 4 parts in homage to human connection right now. The first of the 4 parts is ignite. I like to make it into a puzzle because life is worth figuring out, and I personally love puzzles. If you love puzzles, put a comment in the chat below, in the comments below. Igniting your purpose, your why. What's your vision? What's the big picture you have of your life, of how you serve, of what you do, how you go forth every day? What is that ignition point? When do you say, yes, I'm going to, and when do you say, no, I'm not going to? How does that play out? We all have our own ignition point. We all have a moment, a trigger, a precursor, something that helps light us up, as one of my coaches says, that ignites us to want to connect. Now, here's a couple of components within Ignite as that first piece in connection. Think about it in 3 ripples: self, team, community. When we think about what ignites us, we want to think about what ignites us first. What ignites you? What really fires you up? What lights your switch? What gets you going in thinking about human connection? Because that thinking has to be the first part. Think about it: self, team, community. Once you decide, oh, right. Once you discover, oh, yeah, those are the components. That's what helps trigger me to connect. Then you start to get into mindset. Ignition includes both your why, which is that trigger, that true ignition point, that spark, if you will, and then you get into your mindset. Your mindset helps move forward because we literally set our mind. We need to be thinking in that connector's mindset, the positive, objective, willing, POW, which is outlined in the connectivity canon. If you have your own book, you're set. If you want to get one, you can get one at gingerjohnson.com/shop. That ignite is the first part, the first momentum mover, starter, that gets us going into the arena of human connection. So that's the first piece. The second piece then starts to get us further in motion. Once we know our why and our mindset, then we can really start to activate. Here's what activation means to me, and here's how I teach it. Activation is to act. It's the first 3 letters, and it's how we get in motion more. It's how we take the why and the mindset from our head, our heart, our guts, how we actually get into motion. Now, this might seem redundant today. Stick with me. When we activate, we act on the why and the mindset. We get in motion because we know there's something we want to accomplish. We know there's somebody to meet, there's something to take care of, there's people to serve. Most first and foremost, ourselves. We need to take a look at how are we serving ourselves? How are we bringing our best self forward into this world? And that is where we really start to activate. I put it in a little stair-step model because the more we activate, the more we activate. The more we get in motion, the more motion we create, the more momentum, the more traction. We can go from friction to traction with activate. Activate is where we also start to plug in a lot of skills and tools and practices. There's a lot of ways to think about this. When you're thinking about it, think about, how do you want to activate? How do you get in motion? How do you connect with somebody? For example, a couple days ago, I was on an airplane and I sat next to somebody, and my activation there was to start a conversation. Let's see if this conversation can be startable, because my ignition point was already, I'm going to get on a plane. I bet I'm going to meet somebody great. That's my why. That's my mindset, because I'm always in awe of how many amazing people there are in the world. And so that's my ignition point. My activation point is to open up my mouth, ask a question, start with, oh, are you heading home? Are you leaving home? What is something simple? You'll decide what works for you. I love the simple opener on a plane of, are you heading home today? It's an easy one, simple one, works for me. That activation gets us in motion. And I tell you what, I had some great conversations on that flight. It was really great. My next flight, No one sat next to me. So I was there in the zone with myself and I read a book. I was still activating. That's great too. Self-team community. So remember, the first two steps are to ignite. What is your why and mindset? The next step is activate. How are you actually going to get in motion? How are you going to take the why and the mindset and move that forward with your practices, your skills, your tools? Once we are activated, Wonder Twins activate. Once we are activated, we then can start to excel. And excel gets us in motion. That excellence that a lot of us are after, probably you, definitely me, that excellence is powered by the activation, by the why and the mindset. The excelling is accelerating. There's a strong corollary there. And when we excel, we start to really put into use and we start to get better at, we start to hone and improve what we're activating, how we're activating, who we're with, what we're connecting to, who we're connecting with, and really starting to get some speed up. Now, speed is relative. I'm not talking about how fast this is. That's networking, that's surface, that's the card shove, that's the grab, that's the more, volume. That's not what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about here is to excel, is to get in motion towards excellence. What do you want to be really, really good at? How do you want to amplify and improve your connecting skills so you are being your best person, so you're living your best life, so you do your best work? Who we are will always be more important than what we do, because you can do anything. Who we are, who you are, who I am, that's where the connecting rubber hits the road. That's where we build the lives and the vocations and the volunteer and the altruistic and all those components that make life wonderful. So we've got to refresh, we've got ignite, we've got activate, we've got excel. The fourth component came to me when I was working with a terrific team, shout out to Video Narrative, on how do we bring this full circle? How do we make sure that when I'm teaching connection, that people don't think, oh, but I constantly have to give more and I have to build all the time and it's always got to be more. I don't believe that that's the case. There is a renewal in here. And the part of the growth model, again, that's on my site, gingerjohnson.com, if you want to take a peek at it, is to appreciate and aspire. We must renew, we must pause, we must rest and reflect. When we appreciate, we're acknowledging, oh, where have we come from? What have we accomplished already? What have we been aiming for? How far are we? How much farther do we want to go? And it's not in a pressure kind of way. It's in the mindset of, oh, wow, true appreciation. Yeah, look at this. Look at what we've accomplished. Look what I've done. Look what's possible is the next part with the aspiration. Appreciation and aspiration are partners. We want that appreciation to pause and say, yeah, this feels good. We're going in the right direction. The excelling is underway. I know what my ignition point is. I know what the activation points are. I'm learning what new activation points are. And now I can aspire. What's next? Where are we going from here? What are the possibilities? How do we keep building? How do we keep connecting with who, why, how? All of those questions in that connector's mindset, which includes curiosity, by the way, helps us appreciate and aspire. We appreciate, we pause, we rest and reflect. We might look in the rear view and say, oh yeah, that's where we came from. When we aspire, we look out the windshield. Oh yeah, that's where we want to go. Feels so good. When you're thinking about connection, when you're thinking about yourself, your team, your community, I invite you to use these 4 components, these 4 pieces of the growth model that is, again, available on my website, gingerjohnson.com, to help guide you, to help you think about, well, where might you be in that model? Maybe you're hard charging, you're into excellence. Great. Are you going to make sure and appreciate and aspire? Have you lost the fire or lost the purpose or lost the why? Go back to ignition point and say, okay, what really lights me up? What gets me going? What am I really interested in investing my one precious life in? However it works for you, I invite you to use the growth model. Join me at the table every month for a conversation, generally with somebody else. Today it's with you and me, and I appreciate you being here. You can sign up to get the episodes, gingerjohnson.com/at-the-table. You can search for it on the website as well. So go forth, my friends. Keep growing, keep going, keep connecting with yourself, your team, your community, however you define those. And I will see you again next time at the table.